Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
You know what's crazy? The Blue Jays just pulled off one of the most aggressive off-seasons we've seen from them in years, and yet there's still this glaring hole in their lineup that could make or break their entire 2026 season. We're talking about a legitimate impact left-handed bat, specifically in the outfield, and the clock is ticking louder than most people realize. Look, I get it. They swung hard for Kyle Tucker and missed. That stings. But here's the thing that should have every Blue Jays fan paying attention right now. Next year's free agency class is absolutely barren when it comes to offensive firepower. Nico Horner headlines that group, and if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about how thin it's going to be, I don't know what will. Plus, George Springer and Daulton Varsho are both potentially hitting free agency after this season, which means the outfield situation could go from pressing need to full-blown crisis real quick. So the question isn't whether Toronto should add someone, it's who and it's when. And believe me, there are some fascinating options still on the board that could completely change the trajectory of this team. Let's start with Brendan Donovan, because his name has been floating around trade rumors constantly over the past few weeks, and for good reason. The Cardinals are tearing it down. They shipped out Nolan Arenado, they moved Wilson Contreras, and they've made it crystal clear they're rebuilding. Donovan is exactly the type of player contending teams should be circling like sharks right now. What makes Donovan so attractive? Start with the contact skills. This guy posted a ridiculous 13% strikeout rate in 2025 while putting up a 119 WRC+. Over his entire 4-year career, he's sitting at a 117 WRC+. He's not going to blow you away with raw power, but he's consistent, he gets on base, and his plate discipline is elite. Then you add in the defensive versatility and the fact that he's a Gold Glove caliber defender, and you're looking at a guy who brings real value every single night. Here's where it gets really interesting for the Blue Jays. Donovan is under team control through 2027 at just $5.6 million AAV. That's not just team-friendly, that's an absolute bargain for what he produces. But don't think Toronto can just waltz in and grab him. The Mariners, Giants, Red Sox, and Yankees are all sniffing around. St. Louis isn't desperate to move their best offensive piece, so any team that wants Donovan is going to have to put together a serious package, probably including some upper-tier prospects or MLB-ready talent that can help the Cardinals rebuild faster. The Blue Jays do have the farm system depth to make something happen here. They've also got some fringe big leaguers who could be attractive to a rebuilding team. If Ross Atkins wants to make another surprise move like the Andres Gimenez trade from last offseason, Donovan feels like exactly that type of target. Safe, projectable, and fits a clear need. Now, if you want to talk about pure star power, we have to discuss Cody Bellinger. He's the biggest bat still sitting in free agency, and it's honestly wild that he's still unsigned this deep into the winter. After opting out of his deal with the Yankees, Bellinger is looking for his payday, and Scott Boras is pushing hard for a 7-year commitment at premium money. Let me paint the picture of what Bellinger brings. In 2025, he slashed .272, .334, outfield 80 with 29 home runs and 98 RBIs in pinstripes. That's legitimate middle-of-the-order production. The Yankees have offered 5 years at $160 million with opt-outs, and they think that's fair value. Bellinger's camp wants more years. That's where we're stuck. For Toronto, there are 2 paths here. They could go the shorter, high AAV route with opt-outs, similar to what they just did with Bo Bichette and what the Dodgers did with Tucker. That would give them the impact bat without the long-term risk. Or they could cave to the 7-year demand and lock in that middle-of-the-order presence, knowing full well that the back half of that deal could get ugly. But here's what worries me about Bellinger, and this should concern the Blue Jays front office too. Those home road splits from last year are brutal. He posted a .909 OPS at Yankee Stadium, but only 715 on the road. That short porch in right field was his best friend. Rogers Center doesn't offer that same advantage. We're also 6 years removed from his MVP season, he's in his 30s now, and regression is absolutely in play. If I'm Toronto, I'm only doing this on a shorter deal, But it sounds like Bellinger isn't interested in that, which might price them out entirely. Then there's Kwan, and this is where things get really intriguing because he's such a different profile from the other two. Kwan isn't going to hit 30 bombs. He's never going to lead the league in slugging. But what he does bring is elite contact skills, world-class defense, and consistency you can set your watch to. Let's talk defense first, because it's genuinely elite. 4 Gold Gloves in 4 MLB seasons, 26 outs above average since 2022, which leads all left fielders in baseball. His arm ranks in the 100th percentile in arm value, which is absurd for someone playing left field. Offensively, he struck out at one of the lowest rates in baseball every single year of his career, and his expected batting average has consistently ranked in the top 9%. His power metrics aren't great. His bat speed and hard hit rate sit in the 1st percentile, but he's somehow doubled his power output over the last 2 seasons while maintaining that elite contact approach. The result? Kwan is a consistent 3 to 4 FWAR player who does everything well and nothing poorly. He's under team control through 2027 at $7,725 million AAV, which is incredible value. But here's the catch. Cleveland knows exactly what they have. Multiple teams, including Toronto, reportedly kicked the tires on Kwan at the deadline last year and got nowhere. The Guardians won their division, they're competitive, and they're not motivated to move him unless someone absolutely blows them away with an offer. If the Blue Jays want Kwan, they're going to have to pay more than they would for Donovan. We're probably talking about a package built around one of their top prospects, plus multiple other quality pieces. It would hurt, but the return would be a player who fits perfectly into what they need and does it at an elite level on both sides of the ball. So where does this leave Toronto? They've had an aggressive offseason, they've stabilized their pitching staff, and expectations are legitimately high for 2026. But adding that impact left-handed outfield bat isn't just a luxury move anymore. It's necessary. With Springer and Varsho potentially walking after this season, the long-term outfield picture is murky at best. The good news is, this front office has shown a willingness to strike when the iron is hot. The Gimenez trade proved they're not afraid to make unexpected moves. The Tucker pursuit showed they're swinging for the fences. There's every reason to believe they're not done yet, and one of these 3 options, Donovan, Bellinger, or Kwan, could be how they put the final piece in place for a legitimate playoff run. What happens next will define whether 2026 is just another competitive season or something truly special. The pieces are there. The opportunity is now. Let's see if they take it.